We're back,
What's up?
back,
We're
back, back.
back. I'm back in a
Um,
different building.
yeah, because you've moved.
I haven't. I'm not even in my flat. I look like I've got antlers growing out of my hair. No, I'm in my sister's place at the moment because apparently it takes like 10 days to activate Wi-Fi. Like,
Yeah,
what is
it's
that?
annoying. I
It's
think
like
we
a
had to hotspot off our phones when we first moved.
Yeah, I just didn't want to chance it with the podcast because I was like, the last thing we want is to get to the end and realize that the whole way through it was like, yeah, we
Especially the
don't
way
need
we
that.
talk.
But yeah, no, I'm just playing it safe on my sister's Wi-Fi. So probably
I
be this week and next week, and then from my new place,
unpacked, settled.
I am unpacked, settled. I always feel like it just takes a little bit of time for it to feel like
Yeah, home.
home rather than you're visiting.
Yeah,
But like I feel better, or like I feel
like you can
peaceful.
breathe.
Yeah, it's like I did a post about it where I was basically saying that like you don't realize how much environment matters until you've been in an environment that doesn't align with you.
Hmm.
And, I'll never regret my time in Stockport because I achieved a lot whilst I was there. But I was living in a flat that I was paying a lot of money for that I didn't like and wasn't very well managed by the property company. And it was very stressful. And, when you spend a lot of time in a place that you don't like alone, um, it it was just weighing really heavy on me. So, I'll probably still spend a lot of time in a flat on my own, but at least I've got a nice view.
That's the thing. Like we're from Cornwall originally, and Cornwall is lovely and beautiful, but like it's dead. Like there's just
Mhm.
nothing going on. Doing all the driving for all the client shows, and like that's when we were like, right, that's where you do make a move because yeah, just who your personal environment and your social environment, it will either make or break you. It either keeps you sheltered or it helps you grow better because it's
That's
that mindset with it all.
I know you'll say this to clients as much as I do, where it's kind of like this is what we mean when we say that like prepping with as many environmental factors in a good place as you can have them is important because all it takes is for something to throw you off and it really can impact how you respond to things mentally, physically, emotionally. And if any of those are compromised, it really limits your ability to be your best. And like for me, I didn't realize how much of a dark cloud I was living under until I literally moved into that flat. And it was something as simple as I went out because I've got a little balcony area that goes out from like my bedroom. I've actually picked the second bedroom in my flat because it's got two bedrooms, but there's one with a balcony, and I've picked that one even though it's smaller because I'm like, I just want to open the door and go out there
Yeah.
first thing in the morning and look at the marina. And it's so quiet out there. Like every morning, I've been making my coffee and going for a walk around the marina, and it's just peaceful and it's nice and it just sets me up right. And I think it'll take me maybe a week or two to fully feel settled, but I just feel better.
That's
So
good. It's
yeah.
good. You've like realized something isn't working and you've made a change. I remember there's such a it's a there's a quote and it's a bit smoother than how I'm going to say it, but ultimately the saying is if you're not happy, do something and move because you're not a tree.
Yeah.
The analogy, you're not rooted to the
You're
ground.
not.
You don't have to
Mm-mm.
stay there. And that's with
Yeah.
everything. That's your gym, that's your work, that's your partner, that's your family, that's your the house, every like you genuinely can just and what's the worst that's gonna happen? It doesn't work out, you just
Mm.
move again, you do something else. Like
Yeah, you
at least you're not
either
staying stuck just complaining and then
mm,
you get pissed off with the same complaints over and over again. Like
yeah,
let everyone else hearing it.
you make the change or you put up and shut up. Like
Yeah.
that's ultimately they're the choices you have. You don't stay where you are, stay unhappy and complain about it if you're staying there. And this isn't just physically, do you know what I mean? This isn't, I'm not talking about location, I'm talking about anything in life.
Yeah.
If you are not happy with how your life is, change it or accept it. You
Yeah.
can't choose it and complain about it. Like it's
What
not,
you're not changing, you're choosing.
mm, yes.
There we go.
But genuinely, I think this year's been a lot of change for me. So I feel like this was the last part of kind of cleansing myself of things that didn't feel aligned with me. And like I was saying to my clients today that I already feel like this has given me the recharge that I
Mm.
didn't know I needed. So yeah.
Makes a big impact into just your outlook with things as well, and your energy and what you give back to not only yourself but the people around you. You
Mm,
can it makes a big difference. So
yeah,
yes.
100%. But yeah,
Anyway,
should we get into the shows? Because
mindset
it was a
talk.
busy. Oh, we love our mindset talks. We'll save some more
Um,
mindset talk for the Q&As.
yeah. Yes, it was a busy one. So we'll start with Two Bros. PCA is going to pop up first, but we will start with Two Bros first. I've
Hmm.
got pages up. So let's pop to Two Bros. So pro card in all classes except figure and natural wellness, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know, with the MPC, you have to have a minimum amount of people entered into your category.
It's
So
four, isn't
category
it?
meaning wellness, bikini. Pardon?
It's four normally in the overall.
I think it depends on the class because I want to say that with um like class categories like bikini and men's physique, it's more than what it is for say like a fitness and a wellness
Yeah,
and
I think
stuff like
it's because
that.
you always see enough people in
Mm.
bikini. But yeah, I want to say like I've seen it a few times in wellness, figure, fitness, and I want to say it's four. But yeah, carry on.
Maybe.
Sorry.
No, but I was just saying if there aren't enough people entered into the whole of your category, it doesn't have to be your class, it's the whole category,
So the
then
overall.
then they can't award the pro card, but you can contest that. So if you send pictures to the NPC and they agree that had there been enough people that you would have been pro card worthy, then they can honor that. But it has to be contested. So it's a shame for Shana because she did look amazing.
Hmm.
But they are the rules. And I think to be honest, like I've always stood by this, that I think that with IFBB being the most highly considered federation in bodybuilding, I I think it should be hard to get a pro card in a
Yeah,
sense
I
of
do.
like if you shouldn't just be able to turn up at a show that nobody is at and walk away with a pro card. Like I think that you should have to prove yourself against
Mm.
people of a similar standard.
Yeah.
Um, I've always said that I feel like IFBB and NPC should operate a bit more like PCA, where they literally pick their pros, whereas they deem whether or not that person is of standard, and it's not just guaranteed by placings. I understand why they do it, how
Mm.
they do it, but I think it would make the pro league a little bit more exclusive if they did it by choice rather than by
Yeah.
placings.
So I wasn't being rude. I was getting
No,
up
no.
because I wanted to double check she was called Claire. I don't know why I had it in my head that I was questioning Claire because Claire, who was Amanda Winston's client, was having that earlier this year,
Mm,
where she had to she kept running the gauntlet though, hoping that she would be in a class that had enough people. And I do not know.
mm,
I would have to scroll back, but I just got a page up. That she did like class and class and class. She was going abroad, doing them all, and she was getting so frustrated because she was winning, but there was just
yeah.
never enough people in her class. So in the end, she did. She was like, oh, it's so silly to keep paying to win a class that's like two or three people in. So she did contest it and she did get a pro card. But I remember seeing her at a show and I was like, congratulations and stuff. And she said, it's a shame you don't have your moment where you're giving it and you got the
Mm.
picture and everything. But ultimately, she'd done so many shows to show she was worthy of it, let alone contesting it. But
Yeah, I
I
think that's
see that.
different. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I think that with a lot of the classes that are either higher in muscularity or newer in the because like wellness is still relatively new. Do you know what I mean? It's not been around for the longest time, so it's still building up in terms of popularity and people having the structures and the physiques
Yeah,
developed
that's
to meet the
literally what it
category
is.
criteria.
Especially for
So
MPT, because it is
yeah.
that standard that, and especially natural wellness, like there is that genetic element. A lot of people, not saying do drugs, but a lot of people are normally assisted because it
Mm,
requires so much more muscle and
mhm.
density to be a good wellness athlete. And obviously, proof is in the pudding here because Shana looks amazing as a wellness athlete
She
because she's
does.
got the structure. And it's not to discredit hard work. I'm sure she works really hard, but that
Mm,
structure, and even I don't know who Shana was up against, but we can see there's still structure there in
mm,
this physique as well. Obviously
yeah.
Shana just is a little bit more well, she's that little bit leaner. We can see the lines in a little bit
Mm.
denser. So yeah, as a natural kind of class as well, it is just a harder one that the numbers aren't really going to be there. So it is a shame.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, like I look at fitness, for example, and it's like I cannot even begin to imagine how hard it is to get awarded a pro card in fitness. Because how many people do you know that have that level of muscularity that can also do backflips and the
Yeah.
splits and all, all of that
Yeah.
shit? So it's like, I'm glad that there is a route to contest it.
Mm.
Um, but like I say, at the same time, I also believe that it shouldn't be a walk in the park. It shouldn't be easy. It shouldn't be a one and done because
Especially
you're
in
the only
America,
person that
because
turned up.
they do hand them out a lot easier in America.
Mm,
I know the competition is probably just as like there's probably a lot more because that's the main federation is NPC out there, but
yeah. And
like,
America's
they'll
massive
just
as well. It's a
come out, wouldn't
continent.
they? There's always shows giving them out, and then we're quite limited when it comes to them. But hopefully, Shana's going to go for some more. But it is just
It
a bit,
was a really beautiful look, by the way.
yeah.
Like, I think the result was very well deserved, and it is a shame that there weren't more people. I think that's the thing with it being naturals as well. It's like if it was open,
Mm.
you could get people to join in the class. I mean, they've done that before in the naturals. They had bikini people and whatever join the wellness classes so
Oh
that the
yeah, I
pro
was at
card
that
could be
show
used.
where people did that.
Um, which I thought was really great sportsmanship. But
Mm.
yeah, I wouldn't not I'm not saying that Shana has lost heart or anything like that, but I wouldn't be disheartened by it. Like I think that there's great things to come
Especially
for
because
you.
there are more natural shows. They're more towards the end of the year. So I know that there will be Spain doing naturals and even America, they do a couple naturals as well. They have a big one out there. It was
Mm.
even like
But
Washington last year.
I'm probably not speaking out of turn, but I genuinely think that Shana could hold her own in an open
I
lineup.
do, absolutely. But when
I
it comes
do think
to
she's
getting a
like
pro card,
no, no,
there's
no, and I understand that, but it's right lineup, right day. Do you know what I mean? Like, because obviously comparing the two winners, and I still haven't learned how to pronounce Eureka's name. I'm
I
hoping that
think it
that's
is
how you say
Eureka.
it. Um, Obviously, if you put the two looks next to each other in terms of Shana and Eureka, you can see that there is a clear size and density difference.
Yeah.
But I would also say that Eureka is probably a a really good example of an amateur getting their pro card.
Yeah.
Like you
She
don't
would have
often
put out
see
a place
people
on a
look
pro
like this.
show.
Yeah, you don't often
Exactly.
see wellness people turning up as amateurs that look like this.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess what I'm basically saying is you can note the difference, but I also think that Shana could probably hold her own in an open lineup
Yeah.
if she didn't want to limit herself to
Yeah. Oh,
fitness.
yeah, definitely. Don't limit yourself. Like, no natural, especially when, she does look like she structurally is made for wellness. Definitely don't just
Mm,
stick to, not to say that she's going to, but definitely don't stick to
mm,
just natural shows. Because as you said, this is like, basically, if you popped her in a pro lineup, she would be ready to go. And that's what you
mm,
want out of a pro card,
mm.
really. You don't
Yeah.
want to, if you get your pro card, like if that ever came that I got mine, then I want to know I am pro worthy. That if I jumped on a stage, I would be able to stand out for all the right reasons and hold my own.
But
Um,
they have said in recent posts though that they have moved towards awarding pro cards based on potential as
yeah.
much as they do being ready for it.
Mm.
So, and like I said, you can't argue that Shana has potential. Like with the right
Yeah.
size, like I have absolutely no doubt that she will hold her own in pro wellness.
Mm.
It's just getting there first, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah,
And I know
but
it's, well, I don't know, we're not speaking, I don't know how old Shana is, but if she's quite young, there's still so much muscle density that
mm,
can be made as well, maturity. And
yeah,
also, I just kind of want to touch on who she's against as well. I don't know who she is, but because we always talk about structure, I do think, again, she does have the structure there. It's just fine tuning her
filling it.
that
Yeah.
bit more, just getting that density. Even in the upper, I'd say even getting a little bit more upper body if she wants to go down the NPC route. But the structure's there. It's just
Mhm.
more muscle, fine tuning, tweaking, bringing the waist in, just filling up everywhere.
I
And then
think as well some posing tweaks would
yeah, I was
probably
just say
help
posing
favor her
adjustment.
physique. Yeah, you know, like in the back pose, just bringing those feet in a little bit
Yeah.
more, and softening through the knee and like really rotating through that pelvis. That could help in the back pose. And then I think in the front pose, like just straightening up that free arm to put some tension in that delt,
Mm,
and just having a bit more of a side like turn those pelvic bones at the front right to the side. Like I think that's really important in wellness to show off that side profile of
yeah.
the glute. Um, I think that some posing tweaks could help hugely in the
Definitely.
meantime whilst the density is being worked on.
Because I think it's a really common thing that people assume with wellness, your legs have to go really wide, and actually, your legs are still pretty much shoulder width. It's your toes that are turned out, just like with
Yes.
Fit Model. Like, as we can see, I mean, she's got great quads,
Mm,
but normal rule of thumb is going to be the more you turn your toes out, the more quads you're going to get. The more you turn your toes to the front, the more you're going to hide your quads. Hence
hmm
why Fit Model girls are going to be like more pigeon-toed, and wellness girls are more kind of cow-toed.
Yeah. And I
Um,
think it just depends as well on what you're trying to show. Because obviously with wellness, you do want there to be a bit more quad sweep from the back. Like I'd say that's more important in wellness than it is in bikini,
yeah.
particularly NPC. But also like you don't want to show off so much quad at the cost of them overwhelming your glutes. So
Mm.
it's kind
And
of like finding,
hamstrings. You gotta
yes,
remember, like, get your quads popping. But if your quads look so big that then your hamstrings and glutes look smaller, you've
yes.
done yourself a disservice because the back pose is glutes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about finding that right one for you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what the lady's name is in green. Also looks very
Oh,
good,
I'm not
by the
too
way.
sure.
Like, I think that's a really nice. Like, I have no doubt that if she keeps turning up, that pro card could also come for her.
Mm.
But I would say that she's maybe stood with her feet a bit too close together in the back pose,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah.
I
That's me.
think just
Well,
taking them a bit wider would give her more width at the base and therefore then um exaggerate the mass that's in the lower body.
it's very up and down. So remember, we still want to. So even though technically Yurika's feet are shoulder width apart where her heels are, it's just she's turned her toes out.
Hmm.
So whereas we're looking very up and down here, she still looks wider at the base here, even though
Yes.
it's not crazy width with her actual feet. It's just the way she's posed.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's just those little tweaks, I think, more than anything.
Agree.
But huge well done for Yurika for her pro card. Hopefully we see
Yeah, I
her.
think we probably had a feeling that was coming, but yeah, congratulations, massive congratulations to both you and Shana.
Then we had the natural fit model. So we had Neve, little Neve,
Hmm.
who won. And I love seeing her journey because, as I said, I met her in Portugal a couple of years ago. That was her fit model debut then. And
Hmm.
so for her to go from bikini to do fit model the first year, it was doing it all. And then to just come and get into that pro card is really, really, really nice to see. I know this Mel's client, Courtney
Hmm.
was probably a close second as well. I've seen her at a few shows. She does have a really nice look as well.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm sure she'll be doing a few more. But yeah, it was nice that it's starting to take off now. Fit model, the numbers are starting to come in a little bit more now.
Yeah, definitely. I wish that was reflected in PCA.
There are a few
Um,
in Coventry though.
okay.
So we'll go through that as well. But
But
yeah,
yeah, I think if I'm honest, like looking at the shots like front to back, I can see why Neve probably took the win in that she probably had the best balance all round in a sense of like her front shot matched what I would expect to see in her back shot.
Yeah.
And was fitting of the category criteria. So yeah, I think that they're, they're all really nice fit model looks. And I think that if I was to be like critical and be like, okay, well, what could Courtney have done to potentially edge it? Um, I'm not sure because the light makes it difficult to tell. I'm not sure if maybe it would be a little bit more condition in the glutes and hamstrings, or a bit more density to make those
Yeah,
glutes
so
pop.
that's what I was thinking. When you think about balance, so obviously both lovely tight waist from the front, we can see the glute pop. Obviously, we're
Mhm.
going subjectively off an angle. I don't
Yeah,
know if even straight on. But from the back, when I look at why they might have placed Neve over Courtney, I'm thinking, well, her glutes are just a lot fuller.
yes,
They're potentially a bit leaner. Potentially some lines there. But when I look at the balance of
yeah.
glutes to legs. Maybe it could be that the legs just look a bit bigger than the glutes. So whether there's like more of a pump up, more of a filling, like obviously, she's in good
It's
hands
just
now.
really difficult. I don't normally struggle to tell, but
Yeah,
I'm like
that's
the
all
way that
I
the light has flashed, I'm like, I don't know if it's condition or if it's
yeah, that's all I can think
fullness.
when I think about who won. What do they have going for them based on the criteria? And Neve does look like her glutes are
Yeah,
again, weren't that person potentially fuller because even here we can see there's some lines for this girl here. So that's all I can think is nothing again, it's like bikini, isn't it? Nothing stands out like you're great from one area. It's like being balanced everywhere. And then I think that's most likely obviously what she brought, but I can
yeah.
imagine it's probably going to be pretty close with these kind of girls all start coming up
Hmm.
together. And then when it came to the open, we had who did we have? Oh, because Neve was in the regional. So I don't know how we are pronouncing Juliana. There we go.
Juliana.
Yeah,
That's
so
easier to pronounce.
because I was thinking that's not a name, that's an abbreviation, but I need to know the name.
Mm, yeah.
So let's get the overall lineup. So for this was for the open. And I do you know what
Again,
difference between the natural and the open? These girls do look bigger. Like,
bigger. Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
And I know
You
in
can
the
tell there's
pro,
a mass difference there.
yeah, in the pro league for fit model, there needs to be that muscle there. And I know we've spoken about this before because you were in America and you saw it. But when we look
Mm,
at like these girls, they are quite small. Like the mass can be built, but
yeah.
it's just like watching a natural wellness and then open wellness. There is
No,
mass
what I
difference.
will say, and I mean this respectfully, Juliana, because I think you've got a beautiful fit model look. She's probably the least muscled out of them all, I would
Mhm.
say.
But
Um,
also looks she looks potentially the tightest.
oh yeah, I think personally it's the right decision based on overall balance. But what I would say is that even though they are all that little bit bigger, they still went for the person that was actually the least
Taller,
muscled,
yeah.
I think, in the line in this lineup.
Hmm. So I do think the girls here, they all look great, but again, it's very much that I don't want to say small in a bad way, but it is that small aesthetic look. And she
Petite.
does have, yeah, that's it, petite. So she still has that glute pop, like her core is tight. She has like obviously, I'm assuming for her move, she would have a nice top
Yeah.
line. And then from the back as well, like I don't think she could get any leaner. Because
No.
it would start looking like she would probably start getting skinny, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
Glutes look full, they look like they're just like plump. There's no exaggerated lines. So it looks like she's brought her best condition for her, which they still want condition. It isn't, I think
Yeah.
so a lot of people think that being soft and healthy for
Mm.
fit model is the way to go, but actually you still need to actually be conditioned. So you do need to
Yeah.
be lean. So
Yeah.
being able to show a little bit of shape to get that condition in still really does matter.
Oh, 100%. And I think like my feedback to both Neve and Juliana would be that there's probably still some scope here to grow.
Yeah,
Now that you're pros, like that was the one thing that I noticed when I went to Pittsburgh is the girls are not small. And I think that in order to pull off the level of condition that you need to be appropriate for fit model, you need to have that bit more density than I think people realize you have to have. So yeah, it's the next stage of the
it's
evolution, and
growing.
I'm excited to see spring. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, natural bikini. So I feel like this
I
was a
was really impressed with the naturals
so
like
impressed.
lineup
Yeah,
for the overall.
yeah. I think they all look so good. So good
Mhm.
to be fair.
All of these girls could hold their own in the open.
Yeah, I
Easy.
100% agree. Like between the waist, I know obviously angles aren't always going to be the best, but top lines, glutes, like I'm jealous of these glutes. Like it's nuts. The waists are really, really nice and
Mhm.
tight. So again, when we look at kind of winning, you're just mainly looking at who is the best, like you said, from front and back more than anything.
And again, I think that looking,
Like,
I think I don't know who the I don't know who the head judge was for this show, but I think that based on what we've been through so far, the thing that stands out to me is that they were awarding completeness.
mhm,
I would say instead of like someone that has a really strong front shot or a really strong back shot, like because arguably, I think, and I again, we'll take the two bro stage pictures with a pinch of salt because we know they love to take them when people
mhm,
aren't settled in their poses. But looking at these, I would say that there are maybe some physiques in this front pose that look stronger than Heidi's from
mhm.
a shape perspective. When you like the girl on the left has a really eye-catching front shot to me, right?
Yeah,
And that's where my eyes goes. And even I think that's Sandra in the green bikini in the middle. There's a few girls here that have really strong front shots. However, I would say that when you then turn to the back, Heidi is the most complete in terms of her back shot looks exactly how I would expect it to look based on what her front shot looks like.
yeah.
Whereas I would say that for a few of these other girls, the back shot maybe looks less sharp, whether that be dense, not enough density or not enough condition in the back shot compared to what their front shot looks like. So it feels to me like whoever the head judge was awarding completeness and balance from front to back and it wasn't just factor in one pose, which I think maybe has been criticized as something that gets awarded in the past.
Mm. I would say, because is this Sid from the
Sid, yeah,
top line and dealt and
beautiful.
ratios? Fucking nuts in it. So
Mm.
I mean, if there was a balance in that between pulling her in a bit more, because again, it could be angles, could be pictures, whatever, pulling her a bit more, but then filling up those glutes, like based on her front shot as well. I just that's a nuts look as well. So, but I mean, like you said, most of these girls like waist to delts to like the condition that there is, like this was not an easy lineup. So,
Mm-mm.
to
No.
win this, but absolutely spot on.
But yeah, congratulations, Heidi. Like I think, we were very complimentary last time we
Yeah,
reviewed you, and it does not surprise me. I think I always felt like this was going to come at some point. And I'm glad that that's been now like very well deserved. I think that, you have a physique that I think is representative of what I would expect NPC bikini to be.
yeah.
And now
Let's get the
IFBB Pro
profile.
bikini.
Exciting. Then we have the open. So let's zoom in again a little bit. So obviously a standard, loads of girls in the open. Let's look at the back shots as well while we're here.
Do you know
Uh,
what? Like, because Amy obviously won, and fair play to her, man, because that girl has done some development over the last few years, and like I was mega impressed, like seeing her like close in on her shows this year. Like I think they've done a
hmm,
really, really good job with not just peaking her, but developing her look towards this. Like I again, there were a good few really good physiques in here. Like I really like Lauren's look next to Amy. Like that front shot is crazy.
Mm,
Um, like the shapes, the potential. I,
yeah.
I think that's a
I think that
future one to watch out for.
definitely there's a lot, especially from the front. I'd say all of the girls, like if you were to write things on paper, like delts, waist, glutes, condition, a lot of the like they're nearly all bringing that. So it is then about this is when you can't compare. It's about what looks good on you
Yeah.
an individual. And then when you look at the back shots, I think that was the defining factor because we've just got a different array of back shots. So obviously
Hmm.
we've got Heidi here. If we compare it from Amy, isn't it? Why is my mind?
Yes.
Yeah, where there's just a lot more like mass and density there, and that's like really shown for us along with the condition. So she's bringing the
Yeah.
condition, but she's got the muscle mass. And then we've got like other girls who, there could be like we just need more. I wouldn't even say more fullness, just more density there because the
Yes.
the condition is spot on. And this is where we say you can only do with what you've got, but
Hmm.
building that mass and that density because the structure is there. I know we say it for
Yes.
wellness, but it's the same in bikini. All of these girls have that structure and they're bringing their best look, but
Hmm.
that is the standout factor. That is, from the front, they're all there. It's just, I do think these back shots were the defining placings.
One thing I will say though, this isn't meant as a criticism in a negative way, right? Is I look at Amy's glutes though, right? And they take up a lot of surface area in her back shot, right? Now that's a structure that I could only dream of, right? But part of me is like, if they get much deeper and much bigger, is that going to be overwhelming in the back shot for bikini? I'm not necessarily saying that she's wellness, right? But
Yeah.
I'm just imagining bigger, deeper bigger, deeper
I
glutes.
think because structurally she
I
has a
think it's because she's
very nice,
compact, she's short
yeah,
as well.
she has a really nice top line from the back. So I think again, this isn't. I'd have to like click on her actual page, but
Oh
I
yeah.
think she's got scoop for like more upper glute.
Hmm.
I'd say potentially, obviously, I mean, there's no such thing as maybe too much density if you're growing in the right areas.
Hmm.
So I think she's got scoop to keep growing, but it is going to be definitely fine tuning for her frame.
Hmm.
If you look at like Ashlyn, little blonde, she's like
Yeah.
5 foot. And she's so dense on her glutes, but silly things like because she's so dense on her glutes, she used to get penalized for like her calves because they were so skinny in comparison to her glutes. And it's just
Mm.
like it's then going to be constant tailoring. But again,
Yeah.
got such a physique. I'd love to see her in a pro lineup because
Oh
uh,
yeah.
structurally for her, she's got a great shape already. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how she does
I guess it's
develop.
I only highlight it because I think it's a case of like we're always talking about, oh, you can never have too much glute. And I'm like, sometimes there's occasions where it's like, if you're not careful, you could have too much glute. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like, and I think it's just that's just the genetic structure of her glutes is that she's got quite long
yeah,
muscle
yeah.
insertion. So there's on her small frame, there's a lot of glute there. And it's the biggest compliment, but
I would
part of me is kind of
absolutely
like,
love to have that problem.
oh yeah, I'd be like, put me wherever you want to put me as long as I can fill the space. But yeah, like it's definitely something that stood out to me. I was like, wow, like there's some surface area on those glutes, and it's impressive. But I'll be interested to see how the look develops as
Mm.
she starts to put herself in the mix with the pros.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just jealous because she's only a tiny bit taller than me. Because I'm normally class A, I think she's class B. But like I'm compact, so my waist just expands, and she's just got this like non-existent waist. So, I'm absolutely jealous. Structurally, I'm made to be a strong man.
I
So
love it.
then we've got PCA to Coventry. So we actually had girls in fit model. One, two, three, so four girls in fit model. So four girls in,
Okay.
which was nice to see.
I do I do wonder if there would be more people in fit model for PCA if the posing style was the same as NPC.
I personally would like it to be the same as NPC, just because
I don't.
I'm a bugger for, no, not a bugger. I like structure and I like consistency. So
But
I don't
it
mind
is
it, but
consistent in line with PCA.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
only inconsistent because like bikini isn't the same as bikini. Do you know what I mean? So
I
it's like
would I would like the fit model front pose and the fit model back pose, not a lat flare, but I'll be happy with quarter turns. That's my
I
vote for
think
PCA.
I think that they should keep it the same. The reason being is because it is consistent and in line with what they look for in quarter turn
Yeah.
judging and their criteria. Like, because let's remember, like, the posing isn't for the athletes, it's
Mm,
for their criteria and what the judges are looking at.
yeah.
And with every other category, they look at front, side, back, and side. And
Yeah.
so this is no exception to the rule. So for PCA, this is consistent with them, not consistent with the
Yeah.
industry. And I don't think PCA really give a shit about what the industry are
I
doing. They just want what fits them. But I guess
see,
my
and
comment was more a case of I wonder if there would be more crossover between the girls
yeah.
competing in fit model for NPC and PCA
Yeah,
if the posing
maybe.
was the same. Um,
I am also biased in the fact that because I know you can do either front pose, and I teach girls either front pose if you're doing fit model. But personally, because I like the differentiating different, I like that
yeah.
you are fit model and bikinis, even down to the bikinis. Again, I know you can wear a sparkly bikini, and please do if that's what you want to do, and don't put yourself in that box. But personally, I do like that fit model is so unique in its own right that you wear this bikini and that you do the stallion front pose and stuff, because I think it stops it blending with bikini, and it's you're creating the fit model identity, PT or MPT, whatever, but you're creating that identity that fit model is a league of its own rather than just being a flip-floppy in between bikini.
I think the only time where I wouldn't agree with that is if you are getting on stage and you are unsure about
Oh
whether
yeah,
you are fit
yeah,
model or bikini. Like,
yeah,
so if you're kind because I think it can be unsettling learning two different styles of posing. Like, I
yeah,
think at our experience level, if we were, I mean, we shouldn't be 8 years in not knowing what category we're trying to fit, right? But like, because typically it'd be at the start, say like your first season when you're like, I'm
yeah,
not sure if I'm fit model or bikini, then I would say, do you know what? Just learn the bikini posing and
yeah.
just do that when you go into fit model. And if you get moved, you get moved. But I
Mm,
think if your intention is to go for fit model and oh, and you're not planning on doing bikini,
yeah.
then sticking with, like you say, the
And expense wise as well, because if you
industry
are not
standard.
sure and you are starting off, I do like that you can flip flop between the bikinis because it is going to save you. I know the fit model bikinis are cheaper, but it's still a bloody expensive sport. So some people like to have the option, they like to have both, but I do think, yeah, that's when it is a really nice option that because otherwise you're stressing so much about getting a bikini. And then if you suddenly decide that you're bikini or you want to be bikini, but actually you don't have as much muscle in your fit model, there's stress that's involved with that. So yeah, I think that is a nice option rather than feeling fixed with stuff. Um, but as a whole, I want to touch on Suzanne because I have seen her at a UK Up show. And I just really liked her physique because
Nice shape.
for her shape, because she was in the Masters as well, for the UK Up, and it's just as soon as she hits this front pose, like the waist to glutes, I just
Mm,
think she's just got a really nice shape as a whole.
yeah,
Just so yeah, I think again really nice to see her back on stage. As I said, I saw her in person at the UK Up show, and she did really well.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
lovely shape.
first place we had Emily. So I actually know Emily being a Cornish homegrown
Ah.
bit of corn myself. I don't know where I was going with that. But it is something I've known her for years. So it is something I know she's always wanted to do. So it's nice to see her get on stage. So I don't
Love
know if you
that.
want to go over your thoughts first and I'll follow up.
Yes, I think the first thing that stands out to me is like the radiating confidence. Like you can't help but like smile when you look at her because she's got this big beaming smile. I think the red and blonde combo is a really good look
Mm.
as well for Emily. I think in terms of presentation, if I was being nitpicky, like I think the muscle to condition balance is nice. Like you can see everything that you need to see. Like I'm not really mad at anything. I think if I was being a little bit picky, maybe a tiny bit more condition in the lower would favor the look a little bit more. But I think the key thing that was standing out to me the most is the core control,
Yeah.
which I think with fit model in particular, where the muscle and condition expectations are less, you've got to be very on the ball with making sure that that core is snatched. Because if you're blowing out through your stomach, it could become quite obvious quite quick and it throws off the whole look. So that was just what I noticed when I was watching thing. But like I like the look.
Hmm.
Just some tweaks I think would make it come together better.
Yeah, I think the same. So it was her first time on stage, so well done for winning.
Oh,
Um, and the
congratulations.
confidence, obviously, we can see a little bit of nerves, a little bit of shaking.
The hair
But
flick.
yeah, to
That
be
was I like
expected.
that.
But I would 100% agree with the core control purely because I'm going to pause it in a minute. Because when she walks forward, like the abs that we see here, and I've seen this,
On.
like, I've seen your stories, Emily. You're constantly got abs. So sometimes it can be a nerve thing that we forget. It can just be, I don't know how much you ate on show day, and it could just be a little bit harder, or like how much you drank and stuff. So there could be other variables going on, but hopefully you are I think she's got two bros, the regional will be coming up. So as we've seen, when we look at who won the pro card and we look at, it was Juliana, wasn't it? Like the abs here. And the thing is,
Mm.
Emily, you've got abs like that. So it will make a big, big, big difference, especially NPC, to really keep those abs on. And then least I would say a little
I
bit of
mean,
feedback with the lats, but you don't need to really worry about that with
yeah.
NPC. So
Nah. I mean, I'm being a massive hypocrite because when I'm on stage, I blow out through my stomach all the time. So like I think like when the moment takes you sometimes and you're not concentrating, it can be really easy
yeah,
to
yeah, especially
take
first
those
time on
deep
stage.
breaths. I mean, I
Yeah.
do it and I'm 8 years deep, so like this is not like this is still something that experienced people do. I just think when you've got more muscle, you can kind of get away with it sometimes because like you've got more impressive things that will draw people's eye. But I think that one of the most impressive things that can make or break a fit model physique is how snatched their midsection looks. It's kind of the same as like men's physique, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like as soon as a men's physique athlete starts blowing through their stomach, the whole look is obliterated.
Yeah.
And you can't unsee it once you've seen it, especially because you've got no legs to look at, right? So it's like,
Well, you just say because they have no legs.
I mean, that's a debate for a different podcast. That's not our debate. But no, like with the obviously because you're only judging the upper body, there's less focus areas. So if the midsection is blown out,
Hmm.
it's really easy to spot. And I think that like I think I'm being so hard on Emily here because like you said, you can tell she's got abs. It's just about being
Yeah.
mindful of that core
And
control the
because
whole way through.
she does, you are fit model. Like you are
Yeah.
such fit model between your structure, the balance, the even just the like prettiness of you, like you are fit
Mhm.
model. So we're being critical of that because firstly, it will completely change placings. I know you won this
Yes.
one, but NPC, we don't know who's going to turn up. And secondly, because
Mhm.
we can see it. Like I'm jealous of that core.
I think it's one of those things as well. It's like, if you're thinking of, maybe a PCA Wales, do you know what I mean? Or like a pro card qualifying show. It's little things like that that can make the difference as to whether or not you would be in contention for those higher placings. Obviously, we haven't seen any pro cards be awarded for fit model yet. And I suspect if they're going to do that, that would be at British.
Hmm.
Um, but just something to be mindful of, I think, for future.
Hmm. But otherwise, well done. First time on stage, one,
Yeah,
I
smashed
guess
it.
by yourself, like most fit models at the minute, unfortunately by herself. On stage, smashed it. She did really well. So
Mhm.
two bros, we'll be keeping an eye out for her. Then wellness. There's three girls in wellness. So we had Kirsty as the winner for wellness.
Yeah, I think there's no denying the shape
See her quads when she
here.
walks.
Like you don't even need to see her move. You're like, yeah, I can see the density there in those quads in that lower lower half. And I think as well, the sass is giving wellness in her
Yeah.
presentation, which we love to see. Like, I always love it when the wellness girls give it a little bit more because,
Bits of
it has
oomph.
a bit of fieriness.
Yeah.
It comes from Brazilian background. So add a bit of that in because we love to see it. If I was going to give any critique, I just think generally some because you've got the mass, you've got the density there, some more condition,
Mhm.
I think would just make that mass pop better. I think we could afford to see some deeper definition lines here, and I think this is likely a case of more condition rather than you need to go away and slam on more muscle. I could be pretty confident in saying that.
Especially because I was just watching Kirsty, she walks forward. As she walks forward, you can see her glutes. Like they are there. So yeah, if we can bring them in a little bit more, and I don't know if she might not be, but if she was tensing or not, because I feel like there is some glute ham tie there, but I wasn't sure if she
Yeah,
tensed
you can see it in movement. Do
before.
you know what I mean? It's there.
Yeah, but I also really do like firstly that she's got muscle in her upper because you do need to still have muscle in your upper. And I think people do get caught up about will tattoos affect my placing? And
Mm,
ultimately, like yes, tattoos will hide more, but they shouldn't affect your placing. It'll only be if it comes down to if Kirsty was duplicated and there was someone without tattoos, so then they can see more. But ultimately, it shouldn't. If you've got the mass, you've got the structure,
yeah,
like we can see all of her muscle really nicely.
yeah. What I always say to people is like things like tattoos, like I get asked a lot as well about things like C-section scars, uh,
My psoriasis.
and yeah, loose skin, things like that. It's like you there is absolutely nothing in the rules that says that you cannot compete if you have these things. But one thing I will say is if someone turns up without those things and it makes it easier for the judges to assess them against the category criteria, then it's not that it goes against you, it's that it goes for them.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's not, oh, she's got tattoos, so you can't win. It's, oh, I can see the muscle more clearly
Yeah.
on that person, so that's why they're going to do better. So I think it's just important for you guys to understand that, like, present your bodies as they are, but also accept that if there are certain things about your body that maybe wouldn't be favored if somebody else turned up without those things, then that's just the nature of judging. The
I
judges are just looking at what best fits the category criteria, not whether or not you have anything that
hmm.
is good or bad, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
you're not being penalized for it, but be
No.
aware that you are entering a subjective sport based on what they can see. And then
Yeah.
obviously, especially in bikini, it's no, yes, still in all the female categories, but especially in bikini, you are based on skin tone and complexion. So I have had feedback when my skin flared up. I normally do try and structure it. I don't touch steroid cream unless it's in the lead up to shows. But I have had feedback where, oh my God, when I traveled to Portugal, the mixture of the heat and the sweat and everything, my psoriasis flared up awfully. And normally I'm like, I've got tips and tricks with like foundation and baking powder and layering between like then getting my tans. But there was nothing. And like my feedback was my skin. And I do think it like made a big difference. But then I've entered other shows where I was on the Arnold stage in Ohio with my
Mhm.
skin flaring up the morning of, but I managed to hide it. And it wasn't so much, again, by the time you see on stage, you can't actually see as much as you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't get penalized for things like you said, you get people will go in favor if they don't have it,
Mhm.
but it's still showing it's you showing your physique the best you can that fits that
Look,
criteria.
let's put it this way. If you have tattoos and you still have a better physique than someone who doesn't, you're still going to beat them.
Yeah.
It's just if someone turns up with a physique equally as good as you or better, or their lack of tattoos means that the judges can judge them better, then that's what's going to go in their favor.
Mm. So four in the junior bikini. And here we go. Oh, very lean. That's the first thing I see is I just see legs, which is like, especially for junior, because normally we see full and soft, or we see
Mhm.
sometimes see a little bit skinny, but we can see again. I know this what word of the week is structure. We can
Mm,
structurally see that she has got a very nice bikini physique here.
yeah, definitely. Like that back shot, you can tell like when the muscle maturity is there. it's really going to have impact. Like that X frame is natural. Do you know what I mean? Like the S curve is natural in all of the poses. So, I always feel like with junior, for the most part, unless you get some really dense freaks turning up, which we're seeing more of them come through now, you often tend to look at the junior physiques and imagine potential.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just looking at Tian and thinking, by the way, I hope that's how we pronounce your name, by the way.
And I would
And thinking this with more density is going to be a really pretty bikini look in the future. Not that
definitely.
it isn't now, but
I
it
would
will have
say,
impact in the future when it's there.
yeah. Feedback wise, the way she hits her poses are absolutely lovely. I'd
Mhm.
say transitions could just be a little bit smoother. She's just taking her time a little bit and they just don't quite flow as much with some of the transitions. Yeah, she just looks like she's having a little bit of a thing to set up. But once we're in the poses, couple little tweaks, maybe show the glutes a little bit more. But as you said, when we think about the potential, like top line, delts,
Mhm.
glutes, waist, like structurally, she looks really, really, really good. Even like I wouldn't say even any more condition here because we're seeing lines here. Start trying to dig more into condition, then we're
Oh,
gonna.
and there is one posing thing, and this is a personal thing for me. Right. So Georgia might have a different perspective on it. That power pose at the front with the fingers splayed. Yeah, close the fists so that we can see the midsection because it it can become distracting for the wrong reasons. Like I get people come to me pose a lot and they go, "Oh, well, if I pull my hands in more, then they can't see." And from a judge's perspective, I'm just looking, thinking, "Well, what are you trying to hide?" And you
I
might not be
think it
able
almost
to.
looks sharper with hands
Mhm.
going across. It makes you look really pointy. Whereas if
Yes.
you close it off and then just lift through the shoulders, it looks more power pose-esque
Yeah.
rather than having these sharp fingers because it just makes me think it looks really like
Well, think
hot.
Superman. Superman would be fists
Yeah,
in, not.
Superman,
Um,
not Catwoman.
I mean, to be fair, this is very IFBB elite.
Yeah, back
IFBB
in the
elite
day.
pose with open hands. So
Mm.
like UK BFF style posing. But I would say that not like tight this, but just a closed finger would look less distracting and show off your physique a little bit more confidently.
But otherwise, as a junior, very, very, very nice look. And then we had the masters pose down. So one, two, three, four, five, six. God, masters really do just come in, don't they?
Yeah, and
Masters.
Danny, I think again. Oh, that's over 45s.
Oh, did I go too far? Did they not do
He
the?
did. So I think Danny in the green bikini. Did
Oh
Danny
no, I
win?
think it's here. There we go. Oh, well, did they do it in the wrong direction? Yeah, Danny. They've just done everything in the wrong
There
order.
she is.
Yeah.
Familiar face. We've seen Danny a few times. Um, I think Danny did Universe, I want to say as well. So the girl's still going. It's going strong. I mean, I've known Danny for years and I've always been really impressed with her look. It doesn't surprise me when she comes through and wins. Like she's a seasoned competitor, a lot of muscle, for a master's physique. The skin is lovely and tight around the muscle. Her physique looks nice and fresh. Do you,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? I think, if I was going to be super critical, because I don't think it's one of them where I feel like the upper body is there. It's good. It's a little bit more sharpness, particularly in the glutes and hamstrings. And if we could get a little bit more quad detail, wonderful. But I think it's just getting some more detail in that lower body would help complement the upper body and just give it more balance from top to bottom and front to back.
Yeah, no, I see that because in the front we've got these quad lines coming through really nicely, and as I agree, front like top is there, abs are there, looking really good, and in
Mhm.
these side shots we can see that we've got these lines coming in really nicely. And then yeah, just literally if that is like if you're just really trying to think of really little things, just coming in a little bit sharper because this is where it's so good to know, obviously between like when we look at the two bros like Bikini, and when we look at like the I know this is masters, but still even like masters PCA do like that lean look. They
Etched
want
in,
like,
yeah.
yeah, when we look at our delts, it is so lean. So you can afford to push those boundaries. Whereas obviously for like a NPC or something, like you want that fuller look. So
Hmm.
masters or not, it is knowing that you can expect, well, if you are masters for PCA, push
Mm,
it, get lean, because that's what they like freaky. But if you're doing anything NPC, don't do it. Don't they still
hmm.
want, whether you're masters or not, they still want that nice, full, bubbly, pretty look. And
Yeah,
they don't want to see any veins, they don't want to see striations. But yeah, if you're going for PCA, she's got those lines, she's got those striations, she's got that muscle. So yeah, it's a really nice look.
hmm.
Um, then we go to the over 45s. And then we had Natalie, because we've
A
seen Natalie
face we've
before
seen
as well.
before.
Yeah, we've seen Natalie before as well. Nice to see her back on the stage. Again, this is again what we're saying. Masters is just
Mm.
lean. Just so
Yeah, shredded. And that's the commentary that we gave on her before, was that she was shredded.
impressively, because it's there's so
Consistently
much
shredded.
muscle. Yeah. It's like the glute striations coming in there, but then they're not there when she hits the pose,
Yeah,
which is so important as well. So obviously you
yeah,
can push the boundaries a little bit with striations. Again, this is what like not specifically striations, but PCA do like, the
yeah,
elbow lines, the muscle that comes with it. The way she is kind of showing off her muscle, but her leanness there. You just
yeah.
can't do that in an NPC. Like that's
No.
not what they want to see. So
It,
definitely knowing that criteria.
yeah, if I was going to give any critique, like it's going to be more on the posing side of things than it would be on the physique, because I think like the balance of muscle to condition, I think you've probably like maxed out in terms of like what you need to achieve
Yeah.
for the masters with where your physique is at right now. Obviously, that's not me saying don't ever improve it
Keep
and you don't
growing and then
need
keep
to
coming back
keep
lean.
growing and keep coming back freaky shredded. Like we love
Yeah.
to see it,
Keep
but you've
getting
nailed
massive.
that. Like for me, the hand on the
That's
hip,
what
and this is consistent. Well, it's not on the hip, and I think that's probably what I was going to touch on, is the hand that's on the side, I would say is quite high consistently in both the side poses and the power pose when it's been done. So it seems to me that the hands are being positioned at the bottom of the rib cage rather than more. I normally cue my girls to go more for the top of the hip bone. But again, that can depend on people's arm lengths and stuff like that as well. But I think personally that the hands are too high to the point where they almost look a little distracting for the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
And again, just closing the fingers in so that you're not covering that beautiful midsection with your fingers, I think would just help improve the poses. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, one more thing. Just in transition, just be a little bit more committal about what you're doing, because sometimes in transition I'm getting a sense of second guessing
Yeah.
yourself. So just whatever you're doing, do it confidently would be my top tip on that.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. I think when you have the hand too high, basically everything you're doing is about balance from top to bottom and about flow. And if you bring that hand up too high, you just get drawn to the width of everything up here, and then you just kind of get a waist, and then
Yeah.
it's down to your glutes. But if you have your hand down here, you have your wide top line, but it helps draw your eye line down just as much because you've got the glutes there. So it helps draw your eye line down and it helps pull that down to then come out of your waist. So this is
Mhm.
where we do say that posing is about those illusions. So I'm the same as you. I'll say hip bone, or I'll say where the belly button is, but be
Yeah.
behind the belly button. So many people again try and cover the belly button
Yes.
just like they do with the hands to try and be like, oh well, it shows my waist is smaller. It doesn't. Your elbow comes around too much. It's distracted. And then all we're
Yeah.
doing is looking at your waist rather than your overall picture because
Yeah.
you've shifted your elbow around so much. So keep it like where it is, but like as in from the side, but
Mm.
just shuffle it down to like behind your belly button or on your hip bone to have a little play with your physique. But I think, yeah, it would help that because you've got the muscle there, you've got the top line, you've got the lower, and your waist is lovely. It would just help that flow when you hit those
Mhm.
poses.
Absolutely. But
Um,
congratulations.
Congratulations. Then we have ladies bikini short. So we have Ray.
And overall winner, I think, Ray,
Yes.
wasn't straight off the bat. the shape,
Yeah. So
wild
lovely. And
shapes.
even this walk, like that already just showed confidence. The way she took her time with it, she stayed remember, we keep saying presentation confidence. She didn't look down. She took her time. She walked lovely. She didn't try and overwalk. She didn't try and add loads of sass. She just, I'm here and I'm just walking. That's
Hmm.
literally it. So you just draw your attention to be like, oh, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's confident, it's classy, the shapes you can't ignore. Like it screams bikini from every angle.
Those
I
ratios.
think yeah, small waist, glutes that look like I could rest my coffee cup on it. Do you know what I mean?
Look like Kim K hit
Um,
that
yeah, but it's all the shapes from all the right angles. I think if I was going to give any critique, then I think some more definition in the lower body, both quads and glutes and hamstrings, so front and back, I think would just favour it more, and some more density all over. I'm not sure if this is your first show, Ray, but I believe it's the first time that I've seen you before, and I think that to be if you were thinking about doing like a British finals or going for pro cards or something like that, I think that this physique would stack up right with more condition and more muscle.
Yeah.
I
So
think
yeah.
it'd be hard to beat with more condition and more muscle.
So if this is your first time with the structure you've got and the confidence that you've got, like, oh my God, literally just go pack some muscle on, come back with that exact same energy,
Hmm.
and that'd be bloody exciting. But it's
Hmm.
not to discredit how you're looking like now. The only thing I would say, oh, I've missed it, is in that back pose, this
Yeah, I
one looks really
saw.
good. Yeah, that shoulder, if you can pop that one to match the balance, just because it does look slightly unbalanced. But that's literally the only thing I could really think about because yeah, the top line you are twisting nicely. You're really trying to control your core. Glutes are really nice. So yeah, other than going away and building, which is all of our feedbacks, I just love how she oozed that confidence as she walked on stage.
Just touching on that quickly, by the way, like we always say, posing is an illusion, right? So, um, just because it feels even doesn't mean it looks even, right? So you get it quite a lot where people will pose and they'll pose exactly how they've been told to pose, but they might have one shoulder. Like for me, for example, I have a similar situation with Ray where I've got one shoulder that internally rotates. So you can't notice it so much in the front pose, but you definitely can when I turn to the back because I've got one that turns in more. And I do wonder if that's maybe the case here is that I the shoulder with the tattoo side is rolling forward naturally. Now, to Ray, it might feel completely even, but to us, we can see it isn't. So it's about learning how to practice unevenly, but it looks even. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? So it's like even when you're training, like you might have one side that connects better than the other, and you might have to adjust how you train that side to make sure that you get even connection. But that doesn't mean that you do both exactly the same way because if it's not working the body right, then you need to adjust to cater for any imbalances and lack of dominance that you have on one side over the other.
I am incredibly wonky on my shoulders and my hips, so I do a lot of unilateral work. So
Mhm.
for me to feel even, I actually look like this. So
Yeah.
for me to look even, I feel like my cue is basically to pose like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. Same.
But then it looks even. So like that's yeah, like you said, feel uneven and it's the same with my hips. Every time I landed, I would always be wonky. So I would land, then adjust. And to me, I was
Yes.
always feeling like I'm facing this way, but I
Yeah,
actually looked even. So
exactly.
do analyze what is balance visually and then do what you need to do to fix that. And if just because you don't
Mhm.
feel balanced, no one cares. It's how
Yeah,
you
as long as you look balanced, that's all we care about.
Then we had first place was Sam.
Oh, it's nice to see Sam back on the PCA stage because I know that she's competed with some other federations this year, but I've always felt that Sam has crazy structure. Like, especially at her height, to have
Yeah.
those ratios is crazy, crazy structure. I think she's definitely developed her compared to the last time that I saw her compete with PCA. But I think this is the thing with being taller and longer limbed. You just need to build that much more to fill that frame. And I think that like it's still beautiful structure, but it's there to keep being built on, I think. And I think that more muscle will just complement and just make that frame look even more impressive than it already is. Like all the tools and raw goods are there. It's just about finessing it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Like we can see that structure is there to the
That waist.
the delts, the waist, everything. So it's so I know Jazz from Compact always says about it as well, like how she struggles to build. I think there's a couple little things like with this pose where she looks like she's leaning forward. Could we shift your weight back into this leg so we can get a little bit more glutes that way? Could we tense that arm a little bit more to show off your delts, just to show a little bit more with things? We can see that there is some muscle there coming through. So I do think you could, again, I know people, especially when you're taller, you don't want to push the condition too much when you're taller because you just don't want to look skinny. But I think you potentially could push a little bit more. And then just slight posing things with just opening that up because we can see there's muscle there. So just open
Mhm.
it up a little bit more. But the thing I get drawn about with Sam's posing is she's very smiley. So it just makes
Yes.
me smile back. Like she just presents herself like her chest is always upright. So yeah, I think sitting into the working leg more to sit into her glutes more.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, but otherwise, yeah, just that's running theme. Just keep building and keep coming back. But as what you've presented on stage, it's a really, especially as you're tall. I can't say
Yeah.
anything because I'm a midget, but it's I know it's a hard task when you are taller to just really build on
Mm.
your frames. So yeah.
But they're always impressive when the muscle is there. Like, a
Mm,
tall frame with a lot of muscle has
mm,
that impact.
yeah. And there wasn't any trained, was there?
No,
Nope, that
no
was it.
trained. Well,
So that was everyone. We did
congratulations,
quite good
everybody.
times. Yeah, literally the so Open, Naturals, and PC Coventry. Huge well done to all, not just obviously the winners, but to everyone that has competed.
Everyone.
If obviously I know we go through the winners because ultimately we'd love to cover everyone, but we would be here for hours, and I'm not sure even everyone would want that. But
Mhm.
if you do happen to have competed, I'm sure, and you just kind of want us to ever go anything, I'm sure we can quite happily flick through and still find the reel and go through it.
Yeah. Well, we're
Not
still doing
just the winners.
physique critiques. Should we call it that?
15 critiques. Because next week there's only PC and Natties
Okay.
next week. And then so I mean we could do either physique reviews or a little Q&A next week.
Well,
And
if anybody has anything, whether you've competed, not competed, if you're in your off season, if you want to compete and you want to know our thoughts on your potential, just let us know.
yeah, we'll
But
either whack out a question box or just send us stuff, stage standard page or me or Jodie's page, and we will take a little look. But well done
absolutely.
for everyone that has competed. It's really nice to have a busy weekend with shows again so we could actually go over things.
Hmm.
And remember, standard stuff, like, share, subscribe, all of that good
That
stuff.
good stuff.
And
Yes.
we will see you in the next one.
Much love, peeps. Bye.
Bye.